Sunday and Nini, Otile Brown featuring Baraka the Plains, top of the hour. If you're tuning in right now, welcome to BazeRadio.co.ke. My good name is Silver Kido, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm being joined by two young Kenyans, very hardworking. They've been fighting for change. They are advocating for change. Allow me to introduce to you Priscilla hotelier, transitioning to climate action advocate. As well, I've got Odongo Kevin, all the way from Nyanza, a climate change activist and water ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BazeRadio.co.ke. Today marks a special day as we mark Climate Cloak Day.
Yes.
Karibuni bana.
Certainly.
How's your afternoon going?
Awesome.
Busy.
Busy?
Busy.
What do you mean by busy?
Today is the day.
It's the D-Day.
Yes, today is the D-Day.
Yes. Climate Emergency Day.
Yes. Preparations. A lot of preparations. A lot of passion. A lot of intention. And pushing to see change in the near future. Starting from today and henceforth.
Henceforth.
Yes.
Are you ready to see change? Because the climate clock, it's clicking, it's kicking. 4 years now, we're going down.
Say no more. That it is. We are living in a climate emergency moment. If you do nothing, we are killing our planet.
What do you think must be done?
There are so many things that needs to be done. We are late because we've been pushing other agendas, forgetting that we are living we doesn't have another planet. It's planet A, and it's Earth. We have been doing nothing. That's the reason why we are facing all these stuffs when it comes to climate issues. The droughts, the floods, the heat waves, the diseases that cannot even be explained just because.
Floods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Priscilla.
And to add on that, we are choosing conveniency. You know, us as human beings, when you go back in centuries, how our grandparents used to do that, like the indigenous community. Why was the planet so good at that time?
So beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's because our forefathers didn't choose conveniency. They chose what's right for their own home, for their motherland, for their mama who born them. Yeah? So the moment we are shifting the narrative from conveniency to going back to sustainable solutions, that's what our forefathers taught us, and that's what we should be implementing. Yes.
Moving forward, for those that are tuning in right now on Baze Radio to see the KE, they want to understand Climate Day, Climate Emergency Day means what?
So basically, what Climate Clock is all about, the Climate Clock project is a project that was founded in 2019. This was based on our founders, who are both activists, artists, scientists, who used to go to these big forums like Paris, in 2015. The COPs, you know, they are COPs way back. Nowadays, I know most people know COP 28, COP 29, yeah? But before, there used to be a lot of forums, yeah? And only those countries who were selected to go used to go, yeah? And our founders felt like the citizens who the leaders are making solutions or are creating policies for them, they are not aware of these policies. How can we bring about these policies to be known by the citizens and for them to seek implementation, because the citizens are the ones who put people in power. And implementation is based on accountability. And if we don't get accountability of our leaders' decisions and how they're implementing the solutions, we'll never know. So our founders came up with the Climate Clock, whereby they invented the clock which is here, and they streamlined down this, whatever is reading, from Paris Agreement 2015. And according to the SDGs, we have until 2030 to accomplish the 17 SDGs, which are Sustainable Development Goals, by 2030. But according to science, as I mentioned before, one of our founders is a scientist. According to science, it shows that we have less time than 2030 for us to implement that. And that's why we are here to continue reminding, pushing our leaders. We need sustainable accountability for our climate and nothing more.
And nothing more.
Yes.
What if, what happens when the climate clock runs out, Adongo?
When the climate clock runs out, if we do nothing, we are killing our planet the way I started talking about it. Because we need to take actions. Because the clock is ticking. And the more we do nothing, there's nothing. We are just cheating ourselves. Because one, we are going to lose our rivers. We are going to lose our oceans. There are so many extinctions that are going to take place. We are going to lose our species. At the moment, there are some endangered species that are being wiped out because of climate change issues. So the more climate ticks, it requires us to put more effort. Let's put all the mitigations and the adaptations into action. We have the solutions, but we are afraid of implementing the solutions. We forget. We concentrate on issues that doesn't make sense when it comes to saving life. We concentrate too much into our careers, forgetting that climate is the one that sustains everything. So the more we remain in our comfort zone, the more we kill our planet. So it's high time. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let's demand. Let's put each and every person into... Let everybody be kept on check. Because climate waits. It is waiting for no one. We are giving our next generation a hard time. Because we are giving... It's like we are transitioning a world that will not favor their upbringing. It's not going to favor their lifestyle. Now we are into the Gen Z issues. Yes, the next life belongs to them. But what are we doing towards the environment that they are going to exist?
Good question.
And just to ask, currently, as the millennials, the zillennials, how is the climate when you were growing up? It was very different. True. I used to go back to visit my grandma. We used to go to the Mto. Mto is called the river.
The rivers, yeah.
And get fish. But nowadays, if you go, there's no fish. And the lifestyle then was not full of toxins. We're just saying no more toxins to our environment. Our health is at jeopardy, our lifestyle, our children, all that.
Time is running out on the climate clock. What are you doing? To my amazing Baze Radio listeners, what are you doing to save the planet? I know we've got less than 2 years to save this earth. Coming back with more in regards to the Climate Emergency Day. But for now, it's Tajirisha, SoundCloud Spoiler, and Tipsy G playing on BazeRadio.co.ke. Welcome back. This is Baze Radio.co.ke. If you're joining right now, my good name is Silva Kido. I'm still in studio with one and only Priscilla Adongo, Kevin. They're here to talk about, today marks a special day. It's Climate Emergency Day.
Yes,
it's across the world. We're here to remind you guys we must step up. We must act up. Climate change is one of the major challenges over time. From the shifting weather patterns that is threatening our food production, sea level. Nairobi kuna time fulani watu walikuwa wanalia joto sijui baridi. Weather imechange. Kitambo ilikuwa Julai unasikia baridi. Unapata Julai bado kuna mvua, kuna jua. What is the state of the climate situation and position in this country?
The state of climate change in Kenya, it's unpredictable. It's catastrophic. The reason being, it's because the moment you understand we are part of the global south, and everything that happens to us about climate, it comes in extremes. There's nothing which is favorable. It's either we'll have extreme floods, extreme drought. Like past few years, we had the worst drought ever recorded. And after that, we had the worst flood ever recorded. My question is, when the government knows we have extremes as the global south, what measures are they taking in place to combat climate solutions which are sustainable? We had Africa Climate Summit just the other day. We are almost heading to Africa Climate Summit at 1. What implementations have we done? The question still rings in my mind. Yeah.
What was supposed to be done?
Well, we had some demands during the Africa Climate Summit, whereby the youth came up with their demands, the CSOs came up with their demands, but so far nothing has been done. It's like Kenya, we have put climate into a business thing. We have forgotten that we need to do something towards this climate. Now everybody is into the climate space just to do business. Because we talk, but we do little. In African context, we have Africa Agenda, which is 2063. Climate is an agenda. But floodings and droughts keep on hitting Africa, where Kenya is one of the victims. So far, we are pushing for the forest cover. But how many trees have we planted so far that somebody can tell that this is what we have done? We have good organizations that have organized themselves at the grassroots level. But everything wants to be done on the top level. That's the reason why we get it wrong. The very moment we started, yes, they came up with something known as bottom-up, leave alone on the political perspective. But if you bring it on the climate or environmental perspective, if we can apply that bottom-up thing, our climate will be great.
Our climate will be great. I
Yes.
know on this day very well, Priscilla. You want to add something?
Yes, allow me to add something. The agenda for the president to plant 11 billion trees, it's a good agenda. I will not contradict that.
15 billion trees.
15 billion trees, yeah? It's a good agenda. My question is, are you involving the experts? For example,
Good one.
in my county, yeah, Kajiado County, how will you donate eucalyptus trees to a dry place? Is it going to empower the community, or is it going to make it more drier? As much as probably it's not the government who donated or whoever, organizations are out here for business. And that's why Odongo is emphasizing climate agenda has been categorized as a business now. We need to involve the experts. We need to involve the indigenous communities, our forefathers. And I will keep on saying, our forefathers, they have the knowledge. Whether they went to school or not, they have the born-in knowledge. We have to involve the experts. The floods that there were last time, the Met Department, they gave us a clear alert. We're going to have floods. But how did the policy implementation take it? It trickles down to a lot of things. But here we are here today to continue creating awareness, to continue pushing, to continue urging our leaders. Time is not on our side. They need to act in time.
We must act in time. I know very well climate change continues to escalate. We're doing little to address this. Today marks the Climate Emergency Day. We must remind ourselves, we must remind our brothers and sisters to act now. Coming back with more in regards to Climate Emergency Day. What are you doing for your life with the climate change? Are you planting trees? Are you acting no matter what you're doing? If it's small, is it awareness? What are you doing to save the planet Earth? Coming back with more in the next few. But for now, it's Kama Kawaida Kagwe Mungai featuring Mayonde, Fena Gitu, and Mudoni, the drama queen, playing on Baze Radio.co. Habibi Rayvani taking us to 32 minutes past 3 p.m. If you're tuning in right now, welcome to Baze Radio.co. In studio with me, Priscilla Mo and Adongo Kevin, climate change activists, talking about climate change. Today's marks the Climate Emergency Day. What are you doing to save the planet Earth? Priscilla, talking about a carbon credit. From my understanding, this is layman's language. Carbon credits are financial instruments where the buyer pays another company to take some action to reduce its greenhouse gas emission. Carbon credits.
The definition is quite right. So allow me to to make it a bit lighter.
Hey, what
for-
are they?
Yes.
How do they work?
So basically, carbon credits are they are offsetting projects. Yeah. So offsetting projects, they're like currently, according to climate change, we have emissions that come from CO2 that go to our ozone layer, and they destroy our ozone layer, and the ozone layer not to have its power to protect us from the sun rays, right?
Yes.
So when the carbon offsetting projects come in, they find a fancy name for it to call it carbon credits. But in truth, is carbon markets, whereby it's specialized to buy a big portion of land which has a lot of carbon sinkers. That can be trees, that can be mangroves, that can be the aquatic, yes,
Even the rocks.
the rocks, coral reefs, wetlands, peatlands
True.
that are designed naturally to absorb and work as carbon sinkers. In 2015, the Paris Agreement, the G7 nations and the G20 nations, they made a policy whereby the biggest polluters in the world, they need to pay up to the less polluters. In short, the global north, they need to pay up to the global south, whereby the global north are the biggest polluters. And today we are here to call out these organizations. An organization like Shell, it pollutes a lot of petroleum products, a lot of oil. And then Kenya, to be a good example, we are being affected with a lot of climate change issues, floods, drought, and all that in extreme. So these carbon projects, now they're in our country because our indigenous communities and people have protected these lands for century and century and century of years. To give a good example, the Ogiek community in the Mao forest. They've been there for centuries and decades of years. And now they're being evicted because of the carbon projects in the name of offsetting carbon credits. Why should you evict a community which has protected its own land, its own motherland, let me just put that, for the reason of offsetting carbon projects? Climate change is not what it is now. And carbon market, I believe that's a climate wash.
What do you mean by a climate wash?
To pick it from there, I think Priscilla has just put it more clearly. It's like carbon credit is like a greenwash. Why? Why do we evict people that has been there for so many years and have been living with those trees or those carbon offsets in their entire life? This is a question that we need to ask ourselves. We know very well that Kenya, we are the less polluters. Why now carbon credit has come? It wants now to do away with the people. And we know very well that those people are indigenous guys. Or are they not lives in Kenya? Carbon credit, I feel so bad, or I don't feel sorry to say that we are being greenwashed with the name of that fancy word, carbon credits. You guys are going to get money. Let's look at the humanity power point of it. We need to balance each and everything, not for the sake that now it is time for carbon credits. No, indigenous life matters.
And also to add on that, for you to be able to be authorized to come and do your carbon credit and carbon negotiation, you need to be in a place whereby you are strong in terms of funding.
Yeah.
For example, the UAE, I believe it's out there. They have a touch in the carbon market in Kenya, right? And now they're coming with their own terms and conditions on how to protect the Mao forest. Who's asking them of advice on how to protect our own land? They should come to on an open table and ask the community, how do you want us to continue protecting this land? Yeah. Not them coming with their terms and conditions and posing them on us for us to implement. It should be the other way round, not them posing whatever they want to pose to us. That's why...
Sorry?
Not a problem.
Okay.
That's why we're saying this is a greenwash. Why should a country from away from Kenya come to Kenya and give us terms and conditions? We need to have clear guidelines on carbon markets.
We know very well that there's something known as citizen science. I think Kenya is one of the learned countries. There's something known as citizen science. This citizen science is all about bringing the experts and the locals who are staying around. You sit together. You come up with solution that embraces both sides.
True.
But why? We don't want a decision that comes from one side. Because if you come up with a decision that favors each and every person, everything goes well. We couldn't have even been having this kind of a conversation.
True.
But the very moment we are getting a conversation, we are getting a decision that is more powerful, but you haven't heard the other side. No, that's where now the activism come.
All right. We've had it from sorry guys, we've had it from you guys on what is happening in the country. Why are the decision, done from the top level? Coming back with more, but for now it's Main Can Lie, Vink West featuring Tesla Kenya, Brandy Maina and Sai. Welcome back. 1 minute man Kushman Petros featuring Kushman and Benzema playing earlier on Baze Radio.co. Turkey. Up next for you, Nashanga, it's Yaba featuring B. And just to ask you this, I think about you've been fighting for climate change, advocating for climate change. I haven't seen much of Kenyan artists pushing for climate change. Do we even have a song?
Yes, we do have a song by the lovely Nikita.
Wow.
Yes, we do have a song. You have to look it up. She performed it during the ICA, Africa Youth Climate Summit, and it was a good song. If we get more artists doing that, and also we do have a lot of children coming up with a lot of skillful creatives who are skillful in terms of poems, in terms of spoken word. A lot of creatives are coming in. Like I know a girl by the name Hope. She does amazing poems for generally all genres, but basically in terms of climate change, she's good at it. Yes, so creatives, it's a challenge for you.
It's a challenge for them. The climate emergency demands action from all of us.
Yes.
How can we help fight the climate crisis, Adongo?
Well, we have no time. It's time to act. And these are the demands that we need to demand from the stakeholders, the government, the policymakers, and I myself and you. These are the things. We need to go back to our grassroots. We need to go back to our grassroots and look for local-based solutions. So far, our rivers are dying. Very soon, we'll start fighting for water. Climate change is killing the vegetation at the catchment level. The very moment we don't conserve those catchments, we'll be losing our planet. So let each and every person that are next to the resource that support each and every that support life, give it a priority. 2, plastic production. Plastic production is killing our planet. We know very well that plastic are products of fossil fuels. And we know very well, starting from its production, how we produce or how we generate those plastics, there's some oils that are being used that are so harmful to the environment. Let us go to biodegradable things. Let's do away with plastic. There's a treaty that was signed by the UNEP some few months ago. What next? A treaty has been signed. What are they doing? It's upon us to push for this treaty that was made. Let the plastic producers follow what is supposed to be done. We demand the end of plastic pollution. Our rivers are being polluted. Not only our rivers. Aquatic lives are being killed by the plastic. So it's upon us to make sure that let's fill all the loopholes. Let's kill all the loopholes that are going to help this planet. Third one is the fossil fuel itself. Let's go electric. Let's go electric, because we know very well that the fossil fuels that we are using in our transport mode, our energy system, we are still using fossil in cooking in a modern world, but at the same time, it's killing our nation. Let's do away with fossil. And it is not a question that we are not requesting at this moment. We need to demand.
It's time.
It's time.
We need to demand.
We saw it earlier on, a few months ago, His Excellency riding on a electric car. And yesterday I saw convoy of 15 cars of, President Mama Samia Suluhu.
You see, we are not walking the talk. We are talking the walk.
Wow, Nashanga, it's Yaba featuring BN. I don't know what will happen to our healthy planet Earth. I don't know. We're coming back with more, but for now, Nashanga, it's Yaba featuring BN. Yaba, it's Yaba featuring BN, now playing on Baze Radio to see the KE. Up next for you is Milwaukee's to Party Ndovuku featuring Lil Minor. Talking about climate change, Priscilla, Adongo, Kevin. How can someone get involved? How can we support? How can we be part of this? And what is the way forward? Plans as we end up maybe this year? Are there workshops? Are there community projects coming up?
Yes, we have a lot of community projects coming up with the children, because we believe if this education could have been started when we were little, we couldn't be at this crisis that we are. But still, it doesn't stop us for bringing the change. So we'll be having a lot of projects with the children across the counties. And we are looking forward to getting a lot of partners, a lot of sponsors. Feel free to check out Climate World to know more information about the Climate Clock. And here in Kenya, we are on Twitter, so the Climate Clock Kenya. And feel free to reach out to Priscilla Remo on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I'm always available to give more information about the climate. And I always say, together for a climate is what will bring the change, not just me by myself. And also to urge all households, let's start living green in our own houses. When you go to the market, ensure you have your reusable bags. Don't use the plastic nets. Mm-hmm. Don't litter around. Mm-hmm. Be responsible. Instead of using charcoal, we have the lovely briquettes. They cook for a long time. And I believe, follow me. I'll share more of households' inspiration on how to live a green lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And together we continue championing for our climate and motherland. Thank you.
Great.
Before Adongo talks, you've mentioned something about eating, healthy. I don't know if you are moving from eating now meat to vegetables.
I am. But let me tell you, the moment you get the passion for your world, for your planet, some things, they just come naturally. But then my appetite for meat is degrading. Yes.
All right. Adongo, what about you?
Well, my appetite for meat keeps on ascending, going up. I love meat because meat is sweet. Mm. Well, from the activist perspective, this is what we are planning to do. Mm-hmm. And we really need that for those partnership, those engagements. We are planning to do some, we don't call it a protest, but these are marches. We march around the country and the counties, just spreading the gospel, telling people that it's high time we need to act. Sometimes if they don't see people walking the talk, mm-hmm. they tend to forget. So we have planned to do more activation within the counties with the youth groups that are organized, that are certified by the government, because we want to make sure that activism that brings an impact, not activism that make noise. Because most of the time, most of the activist people view them as noisemakers. But now we want to change the narrative. We want to do activism and impact, whereby we work with the people from the local or the grassroots. We want to bring them on board, not only the cities. We want to take it back to we call them ushagos. We want to take them to slum levels. We want to take it out from the round table. So we have so many activities. One of them is those marches. We want to organize some capacity building workshops, capacity building trainings. If you are not empowered, you don't know what to do. Because we know very well that there's power in the young people. And we want to reach them from the local, from the grassroots, so that when we start, we have the voice and we have the numbers. Not only a few activism. We want to take this climate change activism to each and every young person, because climate brings us together. Climate, if it gets worse, it hits each and every person. So we need to talk this talk, all of us. It is not supposed to be a talk for a certain people or a certain community. You see the way people have come together to shut down the finance thing. We need to come together and shut down all the climate change injustices. If we shut down all the climate change injustices, when I talk of injustice, this is the food security, our weather patterns, the floodings and the droughts. If we shut them, we are going to leave this world or this planet a good planet. But
our health too.
Yes, it starts from talking the talk and organizing those workshops, trainings, capacity building, inductions. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. We're out of time. Nice seeing you. Nice having you on Baze Radio to see the KE. Till next time, as we celebrate Climate Emergency Day, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kiddo.
This is Baze Radio.
We are 254 to the core.